Some people have been asking how you incorporate all your ingredients together, whether it's in a sourdough or a yeast bread. Usually with my yeast bread, obviously I use my KitchenAid because I'm lazy. But with my sourdough and sometimes with my yeast bread, I usually do it with my hands. This because that's how I learn what it feels like, is by using my hands. That's what I keep trying to encourage you all to do, is get your hands in the dough so that you can feel the changes that are happening. You can tell if it's fully hydrated dough, whether you have some dry pockets in there, those kind of things. You won't know just by eyeballing it, and you won't know by using a spoon. And if you're wondering why I keep looking around, it's because I had a spoon. Oh, no, that's my flour scooping spoon. But I had oh, you know why? Because I made mac and cheese earlier, and I used the spoon I was going to use for this on the mac and cheese. They're the exact same spoon, see? So, oh well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, this is 750 grams. Let's see, I'll show you in the bowl. I haven't mixed it up yet, but there's 750 grams of hard white wheat and water. So, here's what I do. I start off with the spoon just to get the water mostly incorporated into the flour, so that's less I'm getting on my hands. I'm just mixing this up as much as I possibly can. Again, scraping the sides. I want to get every bit of flour into that water that I can. So then, basically when it starts looking like biscuit dough, like you would dump biscuit dough out on and start working with your hands, that's when I stop with the spoon and start using my hands. So I'll clean off the spoon. Now, I didn't say you have to get your entire body dirty, okay? So I'm not telling you that you have to put both hands inside the bowl. You can do what I do and use one to hold the bowl, and the other, that's the one that you're getting dirty. So I like squeeze it into one clump and pick it up. And I'm squeezing the dough, see? Because I'm incorporating as much into the moisture part of the dough as I can. And then I'll flip it over. See where it picked up the flour from the bottom of the bowl? There's some in the bottom. So I am scraping the bowl basically with the dough, because I want every bit of that dry flour. You don't want any dry bits remaining when you do this. And then I still have my spoon, okay? And I'll use it first off to scrape off my hands because I'm covered in it. See, it comes off. But what I'm going to use the spoon for is scraping what's stuck to the bowl off the side of the bowl. So get this bit off. Okay. And I'm doing that because I'm going to touch the spoon. I don't want to touch it with doughy hands. I mean, not that it really matters. Everything gets washed, but now I'm just scraping the sides to get all that. That's how my bowls look so clean, guys. First off, I have OCD and I can't stand mess. But second, that's how I make sure that I'm not really wasting a whole lot of grams of flour by having it stick to the containers that I'm mixing dough in. So I'm getting the bottom now, moving the dough out of the way, scraping the bottom, and then I'll flip it over, let the dough fall the other way, scrape this side, pretty much get to this point. It's not as sticky. It doesn't stick to a whole lot of stuff. So now I'm gonna, remember the video I showed you, a stretch and fold? That's what I'm doing right now. Stretching it. Even though I literally just mix it, it does have some stretch to it. So all I'm doing is stretching it because I'm just trying to make sure that I'm working in every bit of that flour so it can get hydrated. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Squishy already. That's fine. I'm only going to leave this sit because it's really warm in my house tonight. So I'm only going to leave this sit to autolyse for maybe 25 minutes because it is extremely warm. Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic. It's not extremely warm, but my thermometer says that it's 77 degrees in here. So that's a far cry from the 68 over the winter time where it would take an hour to autolyse my dough. Right now it's only going to take me about 25 minutes to do it. I can tell just by how wet it is already. Not that it's wet, but wet it is already, and how stretchy it is already. So about 25 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll do a second video and show you how I incorporate the starter into the dough. But speaking of starter, if you guys have been following along in the group with the Jane sagas, Jane attempted again today to escape her quarters. This is literally the one that I fed today. It has now been about 5.5 hours-ish. And she's already peaked and started to fall. She was literally, I don't know if you can see the rim. Yeah, you see that rim? She was that high. And now she's starting to fall. So obviously I know from Jane over the last week that Jane will not fall completely. I could use this tomorrow if I wanted to because Jane holds her structure. But I'm making dough tonight. So in about 20-25 minutes, I'll come back and I'll take about 110 grams of Jane out and show you how I put her in the starter. I'll see you guys soon.